Number 7. George Clooney.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
Hot off his success on the popular TV series ER, film roles began rolling in. Clooney went on to give great performances as other characters in many great films. Unfortunately, his performance as Batman is not one of those great performances. George Clooney has the misfortune of being attached to not only the worst Batman film ever made, but one of the worst comic book movies ever made.
Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone.
Perhaps Clooney's performance would have been better if the script was better, and the direction of the film was taken more seriously. Unfortunately, Batman and Robin, directed by Joel Schumacher, was an attempt to take the franchise in a more kid-friendly direction, with a campy tone akin to the 1966 Batman TV series. A direction that was not in line with the darker gothic tone of the previous Tim Burton films. Considering the shift in tone, you'd expect Clooney's portrayal of Batman to reflect the shift. However, Clooney doesn't turn in a campy performance as Bruce Wayne in Batman. He's just himself. Which isn't terrible because Clooney is a charismatic, likable guy, and there is a hint of a performance in what little dramatic scenes that are on display. But Clooney is clearly phoning in his performance. To Clooney's credit, he's always been a good sport about the failure of Batman and Robin.
Didn't you apologize to the crowd at Comic-Con for Batman and Robin?
I always apologize for Batman.
And would unbegrudgingly reprise his role of Bruce Wayne in the 2023 Flash film. Though the scene was meant as a joke, few were laughing as the Flash was another box office bomb.
Good night.
Number 6. Val Kilmer.
You see, I'm both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Not because I have to be. Now, because I choose to be.
No stranger to playing dark, edgy roles or heroic ones, Val Kilmer seemed the perfect guy to take on the dual role of the Caped Crusader. However, Michael Keaton, who played Batman in the Tim Burton films, would be a tough act to follow. But Kilmer did an excellent job of filling the cape and cowl of the Dark Knight in Batman Forever. His performance as Bruce Wayne really plays up the billionaire playboy aspect of the character, and his Batman cuts a slightly more heroic figure than previously portrayed. Kilmer sells the idea of a man with a traumatic past.
The figure in the dark was my destiny. It would change my life forever.
He also has great chemistry with co-star Nicole Kidman, Dr. Chase Meridian. Their flirtatious interactions are lots of fun.
You're trying to get under my cape, Doctor?
A girl can't live by psychoses alone.
Kilmer's on-screen camaraderie with other co-stars Chris O'Donnell, Dick Grayson, and Michael Gough, Alfred Pennyworth seem natural and genuine. Unfortunately, behind-the-scenes drama wouldn't reflect his on-screen presence. Kilmer was allegedly difficult to work with, and though contracted to 2 films, Kilmer would not return for the sequel Batman and Robin. Kilmer wanted to move on to other roles, and director Joel Schumacher was happy to get rid of him. Kilmer was out and Clooney was in. Clooney ended up taking a bullet that was meant for Kilmer when he signed on for Batman and Robin. Number 5. Robert Pattinson.
I'm vengeance.
When Robert Pattinson was cast as Batman, opinions varied, although there wasn't an overwhelming amount of support, to say the least. The only movies I knew Robert Pattinson from were the Twilight movies, which I've only seen bits and pieces of through the pop culture zeitgeist. I heard he was a good actor despite the stigma associated with the Twilight movies. To be honest, going by what little I knew about him, he didn't seem like a good fit for Bruce Wayne or Batman. However, when he was cast and the announcement was made, I was objective enough to reserve judgment until I seen him in the part. After all, similar outcry had been on display when Michael Keaton or Ben Affleck was cast as Batman. Suffices to say, Pattinson turned out to be a really good Batman. Certainly the most dark and brooding version I've ever seen on screen. Imagine that after the Nolan films.
Why so serious?
Director Matt Reeves' The Batman has an amazing ensemble cast of talented actors. Pattinson has great chemistry with Jim Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright. What a dynamic duo. Reminds me of the buddy action films of my youth. Pattinson's Batman also has the benefit of being written as a world-class detective. Well, certainly more so than previous portrayals of the Batman on film. Which is a big deal, as the Batman is the world's greatest detective in the DC Comics. Number 4. Ben Affleck.
Dear Blade.
Though Ben Affleck never got a Batman solo film, he was a prominent character in both Batman v Superman, directed by Zack Snyder, and Justice League, directed by Joss Whedon. The Snyder cut of Justice League is much better, by the way. Regardless of the financial and negative critical response of those respective theatrical releases, Ben Affleck turned in a memorable performance as the Dark Knight. Affleck pulls off the older, grizzled, battle-hardened Batman excellently. Affleck is intense as Batman and really sells the determination of the character.
You're gonna go to war. That son of a bitch brought the war to us 2 years ago.
His Bruce Wayne seems charming, but we're only given a glimpse to his Bruce Wayne persona. The films he's in are more Batman-focused. Though inspired by Frank Miller's Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Batman v Superman could have benefited from staying more in line with the source material. It's unfortunate that we didn't get a solo Batman film prior to BVS. Affleck is very good in the role, and his Batman is featured in one of the best action sequences of all time. Though no stranger to being cast as a superhero, as mentioned, the announcement of Affleck getting cast as Batman was controversial at the time, but despite Batman v Superman not being a critical success, he proved to be a very good fit for the cape and cowl.
It's okay. I'm a friend of your son's.
I figured. The cape?
Number 3. Adam West.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
As the saying goes, you never forget your first. I grew up watching reruns of the Batman 1966 TV series and Batman the movie. As young as I was, I didn't pick up on the intended parody element of the series. To me as a kid, this was the real Batman. As an adult, there's a lot of nostalgia attached to the 1960s movie and series. Among the wacky villains and bizarre occurrences, West plays it straight, even when delivering some of the most ridiculous dialogue.
The way we get into these scrapes and get out of them, it's almost as though someone was dreaming up these situations, guiding our destiny.
Things like that only happen in the movies, Robin.
West is a man whose name has become synonymous with Batman and the phenomenon that is Batman. West was truly brilliant in the role that became known as the Bright Knight. I always get a big wham, bang, pow out of watching Batman 66. Before I get to the top 2 spots, I'd like to give a most honorable mention to Kevin Conroy, who voiced the Dark Knight for various projects over the decades, most prominently for the 90s Batman the Animated Series. The first 2 seasons of Batman in particular stand out for me. Conroy gave 2 very distinct voices to both Bruce Wayne and Batman that I always got a big kick out of.
Appreciate the help, Doc. I'll return the favor next time you're raising funds. Bye-bye.
This computer checked that fiber against every animal species known to man.
By 1993, there were 2 big-budget live-action Batman movies released, but the animated movie Batman Mask of the Phantasm is the only one that features a storyline with a fully detailed account of Bruce Wayne's journey to becoming Batman. And Conroy continued to give an all-out performance as the Dark Knight.
I am Batman!
Number 2. Michael Keaton.
I'm Batman.
Though a fan of the campy 1966 Batman series, it was a reflection of the times, and it was long overdue for a change for Batman in live action. When Batman hit theaters back in 1989, to say it was a phenomenon is to say the least. Batman became one of my favorite movies of all time. I was a teenager, and it was right around the time I was heavily collecting comic books. Stories such as 10 Nights of the Beast, A Death in the Family, and the aforementioned The Dark Knight Returns, as well as The Killing Joke, are just a few among many other favorites. So I was really into the more darker gothic approach of the Tim Burton directed Batman, which was finally a reflection of the Dark Knight's comic book counterpart. Although a more physically formidable Batman would have been preferable, Michael Keaton is well suited for Tim Burton's version of Batman. Burton felt it would be more plausible for an unassuming man like Keaton to need to disguise himself as a bat in order to intimidate criminals. It's been said that the eyes are the window to the soul, and Keaton's eyes are so expressive. Keaton's Batman also set the tone for the way the Caped Crusader is voiced. Normal and upbeat when Bruce Wayne,
Who are you?
Oh, sorry, Bruce Wayne.
And low and gravelly when Batman.
Kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
Michael Keaton is so well regarded in the role of Batman that he provided a bit of fan service by putting on the Batsuit and dusting off his Bat gadgets for one more turn as the Dark Knight, taking the Scarlet Speedster under his wing in The Flash. Unfortunately, The Flash was yet another bomb in the DCU. However, Keaton's reprisal of Batman was the most praised aspect of the convoluted movie.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Number 1. Christian Bale.
I'm Batman.
Placing Michael Keaton in the number 2 spot was difficult for me, because like I said, Batman is one of my favorite movies, and Michael Keaton set the foundation of The Dark Knight going forward on film. However, objectivity has gotten the best of me today, and based on performance and the way the character is written, I have to give it to Christian Bale. As mentioned concerning Michael Keaton, the Batsuit supplied the muscles, but Bale was the first actor playing Batman that really got into shape, bulking up into superhero physique. Somewhat of a method actor, Bale is a chameleon. He pulls off the duality of the character perfectly. Inspired by the Batman Year One comics, Bruce Wayne's arrogant billionaire playboy persona is a cover for his nocturnal crime-fighting activity.
Well, a guy dresses up like a bat clearly has issues.
Bruce Wayne is the facade. His true personality is Batman. His crusade as Batman takes precedence over the remains of a life that lost its meaning when he witnessed his parents' murder. Bale has the benefit of portraying a fully fleshed out Batman, complete with an origin, emphasizing what set him on his crime-fighting path, as well as his training with the League of Shadows. Bale also has great chemistry with co-stars Gary Oldman, Jim Gordon, and Michael Caine, Alfred Pennyworth. The scenes shared between Bale and Caine are heartfelt and meaningful. The same can be said for the scenes shared between Bale and Oldman, but they're often kicked up a notch due to being among intense situations.
I'll get my car. I brought mine. Yours.
There have been some parodies over the years making fun of Bale's Batman voice, and I think that's influenced some people's opinion, and it's been blown way out of proportion, often being brought up as a negative criticism when discussing the Dark Knight trilogy. As a comedy sketch, exaggerating the voice in an over-the-top fashion is funny, but the impressions aren't a true reflection of Bale's Batman voice as a whole throughout the trilogy. Bale only growls his lines a few times over the course of 3 films.
Where were the other drugs going?
I never knew. I don't know. I swear to God.
Swear to me!
For the most part, he uses the low gravelly voice established by Keaton.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
As polarizing as The Dark Knight Rises may be, director Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy will always be held in high regard among other great trilogies. And Christian Bale is the best Batman. Do you agree with my list? Feel free to sound off in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for letting your geek flags fly with Mad About Superheroes.
I'm vengeance.
I am the Knight.
I'm Batman.